Hello, this is Gerrit again, and I'm one of many sports chaplains serving communities throughout the UK. And this week I have a lovely story for you. It is the story of a young boy called Bruce who grew up in northern Ontario in Canada, where the winters are cold and snowy. He lived on an isolated farm with his parents, but not far from there were some woods, and in these woods lived an old recluse by the name of Joe. Some wild stories went around about old Joe, like how many kids he'd eaten alive, and rumours had it that if you were caught within a mile of his place, you would disappear forever. But for as long as young Bruce could remember, his father would every Christmas trudge up to old Joe's place with a bag of some shopping and gifts from their family for Christmas. And then one year he said to his son, "Son, I'm going up to see old Joe tomorrow. Would you like to come along?" He says he couldn't believe that his own father wanted him to be eaten alive. But the next day they walked up to this old cottage, and their boots made fresh prints in the virgin snow. And as they approached the cottage, there was smoke rising from the chimney, and his heart was pounding in his chest as they knocked on the door. But the door was opened not by a monster, but by an old man with holes in his clothes. And a gruff voice invited them into a one-room house which had seen better days, with a smell of hardwood smoke and old stale tobacco still hanging in the air. Young Bruce sat there with wide eyes watching the men make small talk, and then after a while his dad said, "Well, Joe, it's Christmas time again, and our family just wanted you to have a few gifts. Here you are, Joe. Merry Christmas." Then young Bruce's eyes saw something that he has never forgotten. A tear began to run down the side of the face of this old recluse into a bushy beard. He wiped it away quickly with a grubby hand. And moments later, as the men said their goodbyes, they shook hands, and old Joe put his hand on Bruce's dad's shoulder, and he said to him, "Don, thank you. You are a bearer of hope." Now, I know that many of you are doing quite all right during this lockdown period, and if that is you, well, wouldn't it be something if you could be a bearer of hope for someone else? It doesn't have to be big, something small. Perhaps just pick up the phone and make a call to someone who might be lonely, or add something extra into your shopping basket the next time for the food bank perhaps, or volunteer some of your time. And hey, when all of this is over, why not continue to do that? A bearer of hope is always welcome. But of course the time may come along when all of us may need a bearer of hope, and if you need some support now, there are some organizations listed below this video, and as sports chaplains, wherever you are, if we can help you, we gladly will. But as Christians, we believe that Jesus is our greatest bearer of hope. And apart from loving God, his greatest commandment to us is to love one another. He wants us to look out for one another, to feed the hungry, to be there for the widow, or support the mum or dad who are grieving, to visit the lonely, to just be there for one another, to be bearers of hope. Now, I also know that many of you in your sports clubs are already doing loads with your local community. Wonderful work, things like food bank and feeding the homeless and visiting people in hospital. And that's the great thing, you see, because in some way we can all be bearers of hope. And bearers of hope make a difference in this world. So if you need support, then please reach out. We gladly help if we can. But if you don't, why not see if you can be a bearer of hope for someone else this week? Thank you very much for listening. God bless.